Welcome everybody to the final day of the Countdown Cup qualifiers. My name is George, joined by Hex. We've got two exciting games coming up for you today. To start you off at least, we've got Dallas Fuel against the Atlanta Rain to start us off.
Both these teams still vying for one of the top spots in the tournament. They can, I think, mathematically get to the 4 spots. A lot of things have to happen for that to happen. Of course, Florida will play later today as well. So, yeah, there's a lot on the line for both of these squads. Atlanta has been kind of this middle of the pack, sneaking around kind of team. Dallas, very high highs, very, very low lows. Not the best performance from Dallas last week. In fact, that's one you don't even VOD review. You just forget about it and move on.
Yeah, both of them 2-1 currently, but Rain does lead in map differential, sitting at a +3 there, as you could see. And the Fuel, and they've had some questions around them and who they're actually going to play DPS-wise week on week, and it has been a bit more Only God recently. Of course, this week specifically, there is going to be no hero pools, so we're not going to be seeing a whole lot of Winston. I can imagine, like we were seeing last time around, Orisa is back in it, and she is there to win it all. So we're going to be seeing Gamsu and No, I can imagine, on the Orisa and Sigma, like we saw before. Maybe a little bit of dive, depending on the map, normally. Yeah. But you're saying, Heck,
we have to talk about Dallas versus Philly. Like, I mean, if you want to be considered even a mid-tier team, like I just think about like yesterday, where Washington looked like a competent team at the very least, and they got rocked against one of the top 3 teams, right? But Dallas only got 1 point against Philly. I think they captured Gibraltar first. That was it. There's no nice way to say it, man. Like, it was an embarrassing performance. It was bad. I even saw like Dallas fans even reach their breaking point, I think. Of like, I'm used to being disappointed, but this is a whole new level, and they're calling for everybody's head, so Dallas has to have a good performance today.
To be fair, the top 3 are just unmovable right now. It feels like Paris, Philly, and Shock. You'd still expect Dallas to fill up, pick a couple of more points there, but we'll see if they can do that today. This is the roster that they'll be running out with currently, on Control at least. Of course, it can change later down the line. It's going to be Only God in today, no Decay, him and Doha, and then Gamsu, Note, Crimzo, and Paintbrush. Same old tank and support line.
I mean, there does become a question at a certain point in time, and this is not a knock on Only God at all. I think Only God has played up to expectations. He's played very well. Glad he's finally in the league. But where's Decay? It's got to be a question of like, oh, they're giving him rest. This is a lot of rest. That's a long vacation, and you know, as an American, I'm not used to having vacations. So Only God has been coming in for Decay, and maybe it's a synergy thing. Maybe there's something like that. But there's got to be a good reason to keep like somewhat of a generational talent on the bench for as long as they had. Maybe it's comps, but now that we're in open hero pools, I don't know if a comp would be really the right excuse. Like, where is Decay? Now, the open hero pools are really, really good for Atlanta as well, who like to play a lot of the Orisa, who was out of the hero pool for the first couple weeks. Yeah,
Orisa Sigma, it's gonna be just Orisa Sigma. I don't think we're going to see anything else, to be honest. Orisa's just too good. And Atlanta especially. Their lineup with the Orisa has got a way higher win rate than their lineups with things like the Winston and the Zarya. So it's going to be Gator and Hawk playing those 2 respective heroes. In fact, over 50% win rate and just quite a bit under with the Winston specifically. Yeah. I mean, Orisa's just incredibly good at comboing with a lot of things. We kind of talk about it all the time, but that's just why Orisa's in the meta currently. She's extremely hard to take down. And I did learn the Korean Fortify, its kind of nickname is after Metapod. Was it Dandegi, which is the Fortify just nickname, I guess they give it in Korean, which is kind of interesting.
Nailed it, I guess. I'm not gonna. You told me that was a Pokemon, and that blew my mind. I did not know. You are much more versed in the Pokédex than I am.
Yeah, unfortunately, it might be my last day because I found out Hex doesn't know too much about Pokemon. So,
I don't. I'm sorry.
It's fine. You didn't grow up with it. It's cool. But there you go. The stats on your screen right now is what I was talking about. 52% with Orisa teamfight win rate, and then without Orisa, 41. Like, that is incredibly low. You expect a couple of percentage like differential. 52 is pretty high. You can see 3rd there, but 41, that's exceptionally low without Orisa. Hulk and Gator are just so good at running the Orisa and Sigma. Anything else just seems like a little bit of a throw.
Yeah, they jump up 11 ranks in the standings there when they're able to play the Orisa. Atlanta kind of gets to be the slow plodding team with Orisa that you wait for guys like Edison and Erster to go off, and even Dogman in the backline. Dogman can be the flex support. Atlanta's picked up a flex support. I don't think we're going to see that new addition today, but here are your Atlanta starters. Edison and Erster, the DPS duo that everyone has been clamoring for. Gator and Hawk, the animal tank line for this team. Another animal on support is Dogman, and Masa will round out the support line. Very likely going to play Lucio, Brigida, maybe some BAP. We'll see. We'll see what Atlanta wants to run here. What, open hero pools.
Yeah, I can't really imagine we're going to see too much Lucio. Again, it's kind of map dependent. It's going to be static comps. Genji, however, hasn't really been Atlanta's kind of strat, or just in general their best win condition. It has been this kind of hit scan talent in Edison and Esther, and I can imagine we're going to see a lot of Tracer as well coming into the field. As we jump onto Nepal as our first map as well. Seems like an upwards hill battle for Fuel. Like we said, their disappointing loss to the Philadelphia Fusion, not really claiming all of anything, so they're going to be fighting back for their, not only their fans' love, I feel like, but for their own pride and joy as well coming into this series. If they do manage to take Atlanta to a 5 map, or kind of steamroll over them, I think we can have a little bit of a more higher hopes going into the Countdown Cup.
I mean, all that said and done, these teams both with very similar records on the regular season. 7-9 for the Dallas Fuel, 9-7 for Atlanta Reign. Like, it's getting close to equalizing, and though you think of Atlanta as a more consistent and a better squad, it's just that Dallas's lows have been so low that you remember them much more. As we head into Nepal, we're going to kick it off on Sanctum first. Control's been goofy lately, Jack. It's been really, really goofy and fun in a good way. Symmetra, Junkrat, all sorts of stuff.
Ready for battle.
Yeah. Are we going to see Junk on this map? Sanctum? Really? Maybe. Probably not. It would be funny if we did, though. Just like long-range artillery fire from the other side.
It's not terrible to crack shields on stairs. So it's possible, not plausible.
No. Hex. I'm going to stop you right there.
Well, I mean, if you're anticipating double shields, right? Like, you're looking for shield crack, but then why wouldn't you just run Sim? I don't know. We'll see. Definitely going to have...
only one map. If you pick Junk in my games on any other map than Command Center, I'm going to be annoyed. There you go. Erster on the Genji, Edison on the Ashe. It's going to be mirror comp straight up, almost. We're not seeing a Brigitte. Oh, well.
Okay.
You know that team fight win percent we talked about just a second ago? Well, that is one right there. Thank you very much for starting that off with a bang, Gator. John's a question mark too. I mean, fair enough. You literally walked into that almost. You know the Arista's going to pull there, man.
Yeah, I don't know how they're not anticipating that one, but yoinked into the hole. First Control goes over to the Atlanta Reign rather unceremoniously.
What else did you do? Look at the ult disparity as well. Just by pulling 2 full health people off of the map, 55% on the ult charge with the supercharger already. That's just crazy.
Alright, well, Onigod's trying to get around here, try to find an angle with this Ashe. But Atlanta choosing to pull stairs. Sanctum is a weird point, because like when you capture point, you don't really want to sit around there because the environmental kills are so deadly.
Everybody is so split off right now. That's a lot of utility already burned for no. And in fact, an immortality field does actually land on top of him as well. That's a nice little halt. Gamsu getting a little bit of revenge. Hawk pulls off the map. Only got a Crimzo going to be able to pick up a couple as well. Gator tried to make his way towards the point in order to stall some additional time, but just like that, I thought the Fuel played that rather too split, in my opinion, and actually putting all the utility into Note to keep him alive was worked out pretty well. Gamsu dragging one off, and they end up winning the team fight and capping the point.
Yeah, it looked like Note was dead to rights on the point there, but he got the immortality field to save him up, and then Atlanta still kept trying to pump in damage, but whilst their attention was diverted towards Note on the point, Yoink comes in, and it's just been Orisa gameplay. I mean, this is peak Orisa gameplay.
Yeah, Dogman's not really near in this Transcendence. Brigitte is going to get it a little bit slower, mind you, because she needs to be in combat. Dogman has Transcendence ready and waiting. The blade does get pulled. Yeah, you might as well just save it at this point with Note and Gamsu going down. Erster and Edison at least pick up a couple of kills, and Gator, in fact, just walking into the front line. And Crimzo jumps off the map to try and save himself. Atlanta Reign, you know, they navigate the blade as they use the immortality field. They do end up trapping the point once again and have, well, 5 ults ready and raring to go, Hex.
Well, Gator's had this ultimate for ever now, and he just hasn't had to use it, so they're going to have even superchargers here. Atlanta going to be in better position, though, and I think really holding on to that Transcendence is a great deal because Dallas doesn't have a bunch of really good defensive ultimates.
Okay, bongo for bongo. That was just a slow and steady waiting. Immortality Field's going to go down to stop that flux. Everybody's going to heal up in the corner. No dynamite follow-up either. Supercharger Immo Field's going to go down, so this is the time to strike if you're both the Fuel and the Rain. Doha ends up going down first. Dogman with aggressive Transcendence to help keep everybody alive. Hulk's going a little bit low though. You might want to pay attention to him. 17 HP. Someone please hit him. Crimzo tags him in the toe and ends up taking him out. Ursta playing a dangerous game with 35 HP as well. Somehow stays alive as he dashes through 5 people from the Fuel. But now the Fuel are in a dangerous situation. They need to touch. They don't have Only God. Immortality Field has been used as well as that window to push them forward. The Rain still control the point. However, there's a little bit of cap time here for the Fuel now. Doha ends up falling too. So slowly but surely, the Rain are actually whittling away at the Fuel's offense. Blade's going to come out for Ursta. He dives to the back line. It's only Paintbrush on the point now. He's discorded. He's dead. And the Rain are chasing the Fuel all the way to their spawn. It feels like no one's going to be able to touch. And there you go. Fuel managed to kind of win that team fight almost at the end. Only God was just trying his hardest. He was like, please, I killed one. Someone get on the point. But Rain ended up cutting their backline apart. And they end up taking Sanctum.
That might be the most Fuel sentence ever. Fuel kind of almost managed to win a team fight at the end.
They tried. Only God was trying, bro. You got one kill.
Ursa's Blade was going to be the closeout mechanic that they just had ready for them. I think Atlanta did a really good job being patient with their ultimates, never really feeling the pressure put onto them, and being able to hold down ultimates and get ahead in the economy really made sure that Atlanta was able to take that one rather easily. There's a Junkrat on the field. What do you think, Jaws? It's good here. We've seen it played here.
Okay.
Village is okay for Junkrat.
I'm okay with this. I'm not okay with this May, though. Dishonest hero. Very dishonest. Oh, they're going for the full bunker strat as well with the sim, okay? Extremely dishonest. Although Ursta's going to have a very, very easy time actually destroying these turrets. What he's doing right now, just spam click. That's a lot of damage. No's dead already. Okay, not a good start, especially for a comp that wants to bunker down. However, Hawk does end up getting pinned against the wall, and they're just trading as well. Only God falling, so this is not bad. Master's found the first 2 kills for the Rain. Can he find even more? With the shields available, though, from the Rain, I mean, it's pretty easy for them to kind of walk onto the point. The DPS are going to have the worst time trying to get out or even just contest. Ursta finishes off Only God, and Atlanta Rain end up carrying.
I mean, the question after the first push for Dallas is, do you try to stay on this composition? It seems like they want to let it ride for at least one more round here. This is a composition that is much better when you're in control of the points. Of course, May walling off, and then Symmetra turrets to help negate anyone coming in. The entry could be assisted by a May wall, but Atlanta's playing pretty far back.
I still played there for Crimzo to stop that dynamite burning him alive. That wall actually cost Edison his life. He was the only one on the other side of it, unfortunately. Winner's going to open up as well. Got to be careful now, making sure they don't take a random grenade from Ursta. Gamsu's going to go on the back line, though. He's almost got that shatter, but Rain had already made the wrap around. Another wall comes out, and this time around, Dogman's strapped on the other side of it. They managed to break one of the pillars to meet him in the fray. However, Ursta with the tie kills off Doha, stops the May from being a problem, but the greater issue here for Rain was Gamsu was just swinging oh so freely on the front line.
Yeah, it's a really nice rotation from the Dallas Fuel to go around to the backside. Gamsu gets a lot of attention in on him, and then the wall is able to come up and isolate somebody. So Dallas exactly where they want to be with this composition, having ultimates from your off-meta DPS picks in the May and the Symmetra. I think Sim Ult is vastly underrated. We'll see if they end up using it here. You may as well, because if you lose this fight, you're probably going to switch off the Sim anyway. See what Atlanta has to get into this. It's only Flux ready.
I mean, the Fuel just really want to use the Coalescence early here and then make sure they can build up towards this Blizzard. Very good wall too. It's not going to provide a crazy amount of value, because it's only on one side of the point, but does force Rain to retreat. And just managed to pick off Crimzo as well. Only got Lucio healing, so Paintbrush uses the beat to make sure they can survive for a little bit longer. Bob on the point, tie it in as well. That's a double kill for Ursta. Only got a note, sayonara. And the Fuel are just going to go for the resets. Rain are going to be in a good position here. They can stop a lot of the offense from the Fuel. They have the supercharge delay for a long time, and they've got the beat as well to potentially counteract the Blizzard. They can use the beat, then speed everybody out of the Frozen Dome.
Yeah, they're in a really good spot here, especially with Supercharger up as well. And at 70%, you have to think it's single fight territory. The ults you want to look for Dallas as their win condition would be the Blizzard and the Flux. Flux to maybe push them off somewhere, but that's over before it starts.
That was such a good Supercharger, really early, making sure fuel are put on the clock. The Blizzard will go out though, and Gamsu finds two. This Supercharger not doing all so much anymore. At least Hawk and Erster, though, taking to the skies, both of them, making sure they're juggling Note around so he can't join the rest of his team as well. Masa finds the kill onto him in the end. There's so much displacement, the tanks couldn't even set up on the point hex. 95% and building. Rain are in control. Fuel trying to get back to the point now. Overtime has at least been triggered, but looks almost unwinnable. Erster just sitting behind the window, firing the Junkrat grenades. Only God falls. This should just be it. The Rain taking this one 2-1 as they finish up the rest of the fuel. Gamsu, yeah, he's in a little bit of a sorry situation. The rest of the team are as well. Crimzo's going to come back with Cole, but it's not going to be all too much. And the Rain, they end up taking control.
I think it was a great point you made about displacement. I think people think about Junkrat as just this mindless spam grenade bots, but the displacement actually really hurts tanks when they're trying to set up. Throwing the mines in, the double mines that you have to be able to knock people out. Like, if you're able to put somebody where they don't want to be, you're already ahead in that fight. And so the mines and just knocking people out of their set plays, out of their strategy is just, yeah, Junkrat is the embodiment of chaos. He proved it there. So yeah, how dare you? Junkrat totally works on control.
I didn't. I said it works on certain stages. Not Sanctum, definitely not one of those. Although you can get some really cool like boops into the pit. To be fair, and that was all about the displacement. I want to see Note's POV in that because he not only had Masa just right-click booping him, but he also had Ursa juggling him as well. I'm not entirely sure if he even touched the ground at any point in time. He got a crazy kind of Tony Hawk kind of ride in the sky for a little bit there. We're going to jump to a quick break, guys. Do not go anywhere. We've got map number 2 coming up soon.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Cheez-It Grooves. Deep flavor, deep crunch. It's a mind crunch. The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. Switch today and rank up to America's largest 5G network, T-Mobile. And by State Farm. For auto, home, or renters insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey guys, welcome back. I did actually calculate Note's points in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 in that break. It was about 28,000. If you got another board slide, being in midair, maybe up into that 30k, but we'll have to check the tapes. We're gonna jump onto Gibraltar as our map number 2. Hex, what happens? What happens even when Rain doesn't play Orisa? Their teamfight win rate kind of plummets. What's wrong in Gibraltar? It feels like maybe a little bit of a curse for them coming into this map because Dallas, they've not looked too bad at all on these dive heroes. Atlanta, a lot less so.
It's very much a dive-oriented map, always has been because of all the verticality in it. And yeah, I think that Dallas's roster would be more suited to this because Guangzhou on Winston, Note can play the Diva, of course, would likely lend itself to Dallas maybe playing dive. I don't see a great composition in which you try to play Orisa here. You can on the top ground. There was a composition once where you just sat in the small pack room under Car Wash, played with a Sombra with an Orisa. That was a very strange 3-week period in Overwatch history. But yeah, I mean, this would bode well for Dallas Fuel as far as their tank line goes. We'll see if the Atlanta Reign tank line can come up to the task when it comes to dive. They definitely have the DPS available for it. But this is it's interesting because Control has been so variant lately that like I kind of just throw that one away a lot of the times. And mostly the best teams are always winning on maps 2, 3, and 4 where there's more set plays, more compositional strategies, and things like that. So I'm really interested to see what both these teams want to run out. Of course, we have looked at the Orisa stats for Atlanta. They are much better when they can run Orisa, but Gibraltar really doesn't lend itself to great Orisa strats. And I kind of just want to see the DPS duo. And Hawk already asking, you guys playing dive? That's my question too.
So you guys playing dive? Huh? Like, I just want to know. Just they're playing. They're playing goats. Yes. Doha was actually quite well renowned in goats as the best Sombra in goats period in Korea. Was able to build up EMP every single fight. It was just absurd. He did show a lot more heroes, and he has been recently, of course. But at the time, his Sombra was easily the best in the world in the goats meta.
Yeah, much more aggressive Sombra, just kind of hanging out and just building up EMP. Like, hey, you can't actually kill me because you're goats, so I'll just farm your tanks and I'll come back later. See ya.
Yeah, come back later, i.e. like 30 seconds when I have EMP.
Yeah, pretty much.
Your tanks are getting farmed.
Okay, we do see the defense out. It is going to be an Orisa Sigma strategy. They're going to hold this high ground. I think this is the right way to play Orisa if you're going to. And we'll see if Dallas tries to dive on this. And the Edison Onigod matchup is definitely in favor of Onigod at the moment because, well, Widow's just better than Ashe at long distances. Less utility, but more lethal burst.
But Onigod go pew-pew with the oh, tidying the flowers. Just the issue with holding like this if you're the Rain. They are going to go for the car wash strat. I'm just going to put this out here. This car wash strat, it was used on Junkertown a bit as well. You just kind of let the payload go forward and then you can hide in the mech pack room. It's actually the most annoying thing in the world, like
it's
to play
hard to
against. Because you're just like spamming shield and you're just hoping one of the shields dies and then you randomly get a headshot. And especially as the Widowmaker, well, like, what is Onigod going to do here? He's like,
what's
well,
Onigod going to do?
I guess I just wait for shield to die. And then they just keep doing this. They just pull people off the high ground, damage them, and Edison and Bob. And then it's like, well, what do we do now? They're going to go for this dive, but it's almost impossible. There you go, instantly dead. You have to all dive as one, and hopefully land a big bio grenade like they have done. But the lamp comes out and saves the whole team. So it's a very much, we have to build ults somehow if you're Doha and Crimzo. Crimzo obviously almost has the nano already.
Well, Crimzo's
and
in
then
server
go for this
room.
big blade.
And Onigod is behind them. They finally deal with Onigod. But yeah, they went for this enormous wraparound strategy where they tried to put both their long-range heroes behind. But Atlanta's got 2 shields. They just clamshelled it. 3 if you count Brigitte.
Yeah, that is true. Just cover up the small little bits that aren't. Oh, no, you're good. He's got
I love this from Atlanta. They're just playing to their strengths. They know what they're good at, and they're like, hey, I know that you should dive on Gibraltar, but what if we don't?
He's going in. One dash. There it is. Immofield's gone down. Oh, boy. That's a lot of damage. That's exactly what I said had to happen, Hex. Build up that nano blade, you dash straight in. There's nothing they can do. That immortality field ain't going to last long. Even to be fair as well, a Transcendence, it probably wouldn't have saved them because the Nanoblade straight on top of all the additional damage that's coming out from Guangzhou, Note, and Onigod, of course, it would have tore through the 300 HPS that the Transcendence provides.
Well, Atlanta just took it, and they decided to take it because they want to fight again, and they've got 6 ultimates, so they're going to rally out.
Feels good. They got rally, and they have Blade now. Ursta full on HP. Over 200 HP with armor as well. Only got instantly goes down, but Guangzhou, luckily enough, managed to knock Ursta up. Enough damage was applied, and he ends up going down. They still have Bob, Supercharger, Flux, and Window, mind you, so Dallas still have an upwards hill battle at this point. Doha still trying to pump his next Blade. Bob's going to come out. And that Flux 2 on Crimzo, he is as good as dead. The Spheres only just not killing him up at the end there, actually. Crimzo used the nade to keep himself alive and well, but still, cracking this defense has been a tough ordeal for Fuel. They've only got a minute left, Hex.
Yeah, I mean, how time flies, because you have to really build up to the Nano Blade to be able to crack into the first hold. Guangzhou's going to go down late. Now, Dallas will have 1 minute. They've got the Nano. They're going to have Bob. Doha at 70%. You have to think a Genji should be able to get there, and it might be a scenario in which you nano the Genji at about 90, 95, and Blade halfway through, because that is your win condition right now. Note can open it up as well with a static shield of Orisa. You can drop down a self-destruct, but these are not good entries.
They're relying on Nanoblade. That is the only thing they're relying on right now. He's building Nanoblade, they go in, they get a 6k, they get a 7k as they respawn. You know, like, they have to get the Nanoblade, and that is basically it. Because Guangzhou can go in with the mines, but it's just so easily destroyed by a Hawk Shield, and Orisa's going to survive that too, because they have so much healing from Dogman. Even the Immortality field can be thrown out as well.
Atlanta's got nothing left. Dallas has to win this fight, and they should. They're going to have 6 ultimates here. Like, 6-0 ultimates. Pulse bombs up, but
Played. He's got it. They also send the mob out as well. Payload is moving, mind you, but they should be able to touch. There you go, Gator, yeah, putting down a fresh shield. Nano, Blade, or just normal Blade? Where's the Nano? He just gets rocked, and he dies. Okay, so Crimzo has to use Nano now. He used it on Paintbrush of all people. They at least kill Gator, so that's 1 shield dead, but no falling 2. There's a whole lot less pressure on the field. At least Paintbrush picks up Dogman, but it's all on Edison and his Bob to help out. Hawk in server room just dominating it. Used the Flux on the support. They're already dead. The Bob's going to finish off the last couple of kills, and the Fuel, they're going to get held just before first, Hex. And they relied on the Nano Blade, but the Nano didn't even come out in the end. Potentially he survives the rock. Not entirely sure, because the Nano damage reduction
probably
could have gotten taken out, but you'd have hoped that he did, or at least the Dallas Fuel were hoping so. And just historically, Hex, the Fuel in general, their payload win percent is, this season, is 37%, 37.5%.
That sounds like a low number. That sounds like a really low number. Dallas not able to even get the first point of Gibraltar. They had 6 ultimates. They had 6 ults to a pulse bomb. Atlanta able to get the very first kills. Like the accretion is a great hit from Hawk. Let's not take anything away from that. But we've seen Nano Genjis get double stunned and still get 3Ks with the Blade. That's why you nano a Genji, so he can live through those stuns that are definitely coming out from Atlanta. Atlanta's able to get a couple of shots. No one's touching the hit scan up top, so the Bob comes in late and they're able to put in the damage. That's disheartening. I mean, 6 ultimates, and they just didn't come out in the right order. I don't know what to say about that one. That's rough. Dallas is going to have a Herculean hold here to go into the half 1-1.
Oh, man.
I'm trying to see it, John. I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm trying to bright side this, but I don't see it.
Sometimes you just got to praise Jeff, you know? Make sure you can win. Rain gonna do the same old, oh, dearie me. That was a shot and a half. Only God with a body shot, and then, yeah, everybody else cleaned him up. I love what we were saying just before, Hex, is Rain just sticking to their strength. Yeah. The Orisa, Sigma, not normally played on this map because of all the high ground. Dive is just almost infinitely more effective, it feels like. But if you know your dive isn't strong and your Orisa Sigma's just your best comp, yeah, absolutely play it. Build a strategy just around it.
I don't like when teams are meta slaves and they play things that they're not good at, and I like that Atlanta's just like, no, this is what we're good at. See how it works.
Yeah, this is us. Gator and Hawk go very low after getting bio-grenaded, but the lap did come out just in time. Guangzhou's going to have a little bit of free ult charge here on the high ground, but slowly but surely this payload is moving up. Because Dallas Fuel haven't run this bunker strat, they haven't been able to really contest them during this car wash bit under the bridge, so there's not a lot of time really left. Atlanta Rain, they're just going to build up to Rally, a Blade, and a Nano. Early Nano boost onto Gamsu as he does force his way into the room. And the Primal Rage can do a whole lot of work as well, but he's fitting a lot of ult charge actually over. He's going to have to dip out of there rather quickly. Ursa does go down, so this is a good start. So it's a couple of meters away. Doha now has Blade. They don't have Nano, but they can still fend off for a little bit of time here. But Atlanta Reign doing what they do best and just kind of holding this little small room, bunker style, just waiting for Ursa and Edison to come back.
Well, the Nano felt like we have to win this fight now. We can't hold it for Blade, and they were right. I mean, if they don't win that fight, they lose the map. So you have to commit early. EMP comes out, though.
That is an early EMP. Crimson Paintbrush Gamsu. This is it. Well, this is done. The EMP just came out. They didn't even need the rally and the Blade. They used the rally anyway. Hits the Blade from Ursa. Just a kind of victory firework, and there you go. Dallas Fuel getting held on first. Atlanta Reign. They're going to take match point of the series now. This has felt extraordinarily quick. This is not how I pictured the series going, to be honest with you.
No, you thought it was going to be close. I didn't really have a great opinion, although I think Atlanta is the better team. But this is the kind of match that you really need to start winning and separating yourselves. As we've been saying the last couple of days, the middle of NA, once you get past 4, is a mess. And any team can beat any other team, but we need to start sorting it out a little bit. And Atlanta, straight up, has just made a statement. Dallas's Gibraltar has looked abysmal the last couple of matches. You got to have the halftime of your life here if you're Dallas. You got to make adjustments. You have to do coaching. And I know last week they said they didn't make adjustments quick enough. Well, now's the time. You've got a little bit of a break here to figure it out, because so far Dallas has looked panicky, confused, and like desperate to just kind of win fights. Like the early Nano onto Winston was like, we don't believe we can win this fight without it. So we can't save it for Nano Blade. We can't save it for win conditions. We have to use it now. And Dallas has to find something else here, because Atlanta, they just beat you on Gibraltar with Orisa.
Yeah. Well, we did mention that Dallas Fuel, their lowest win rate game mode is currently payload, so not their biggest strength. We're going to jump to a quick break though, guys. Do not go anywhere. We've got Watch Point coming up next. They can break down the action so far.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League. Hello, one and all, and welcome to our first game break of the day, presented by Pringles Wavy. Zoe here, joined by Costa and Reinforce, and currently the Atlanta Reign are up 2-0. Gentlemen,
Wow,
I'm
you're
over the
chipper,
moon.
huh?
I don't even know
you're
why.
right, yeah.
I sure do. Well, and you know what, Costa, why don't you explain to me why I sound so smart looking at that very first map, which Atlanta took fairly with ease. Honestly, they did have quite a dominant performance, showing a small variety of comps.
Sorry, that's my fault. I knew the game was... I don't want to talk about it. I knew the game... This is how mad I am. I knew the game was going to go terribly when we walk in to the first round and 2 people get pulled off from the Dallas field. The most classic play in the book, and it catches 2 people. And from there, it really just unraveled for the Dallas Fuel. They're playing a composition in the Brig instead of the Zenyatta on that first round. And then we go to Nepal, and they're countering themselves once again. They're playing this rush style with Symmetra May against a Junkrat Ashe. It's just too much damage. And you saw them really struggle to get any footing on both rounds. And I'm really worried they just don't have confidence right now. They're standing around. Their blades look uninspired. There doesn't seem to be the coordination that we started to see from them over the last couple of weeks. I don't know what's happening, if they've lost their confidence ever since their recent losses, but it does not look good right now.
Yeah, I mean, Doha ended the end of the second round there with 0 elims on his Genji, so definitely didn't get the value out of their picks as they would have liked to. Now, heading into the second map, Gibraltar, again, a quiet dominant shutout from Atlanta Reign. Reinforce, how did they get it done?
Yeah, I mean, there's a thing to be said, by the way. We're doing this crunch time, right? So
this entire map is
because
just going to be crunch time?
I think we should just
Presented by
dedicate
Pringles
this
Wavy?
entire map to crunch time, Zoe.
Do it.
So set it up for us, okay?
All right, and in Crunch Time presented by Pringles Wavy, we do have the entirety of that second map because it crunched so hard.
Great, because we have to talk, Zoe, okay? So we might as well just bake it into the crunch time, okay? So there's a thing to be said about being negative about the Dallas Fuel and instead maybe just like praising the Atlanta Reign. Hey, why don't we just talk about the Atlanta Reign playing well, they full-held the Dallas Fuel, being great. But I think the real issue here is that we expected so much more from the Dallas Fuel. So it becomes a talking point like, hey, why are Dallas Fuel at least not performing to the level of the Atlanta Reign and actually fulfilling our expectations of what this roster can perform? I'm not even talking about Decay, okay? Decay is not even in the conversation. He's gone, okay? Have him go play Minecraft full-time or something. I don't care. But this roster on paper that is currently in the game should at least be able to play a proper meta, a proper composition, and perform at the level of the Atlanta Reign and actually take it to them. Instead, we have Guangzhou on the wrecking ball all game. Just rolling around, trying to have an impact on Gibraltar. Point A. I mean, come on. Just go Orisa Sigma. Note Sigma has been good all year. We know that Guangzhou is a solid player. You can rely on Doha's Genji. It's been fantastic. Only God has had some impact on the Ashe these past few performances. But there's no sight of that. Like, what happened? It's like they didn't have their breakfast burrito this morning. I don't understand why this Dallas Fuel roster is not performing to the level we want to see them.
Casa, do you have an answer? What's going on?
No, I'm just as outraged as Johnny. We both went for Dallas. We both had higher hopes. I had
Is
them
this
at
what an
number
Outlaws
5.
fan feel like? Like, I don't...
Yeah, it has to be, right? I had them at number 5 on my power rankings. I started to believe. I opened my eyes, and it was all going to be great. And then all of a sudden, like, as Johnny said, they're playing D.Va. We have seen very few teams execute the D.Va properly in this current meta, especially with Orisa back in the lineup. You saw how ineffective it is to try and dive a double shield. They can't get anything done. They can't move around the map. They're taking too much damage. Gamsu's just getting poked down. They're never going to get the value that they need, and it's really worrying signs because, as Johnny said, on paper, this is a good roster. They've shown good performances. Why is it falling apart as hard as it is? On the other hand, Atlanta, you guys are doing great. Keep it up.
Yeah.
You look really nice.
Well, here's the thing. I'm a big fan of not changing a working system, but that's exactly what the Atlanta Reign seemingly will be doing for that second half, as we do see some substitutions. We're going to see the new face immediately thrown into the ring. Iris is going to join, and Erster will also be subbed out in favor for Saucy, who just recently turned 18 and will now play today. Reinforce, any thoughts on Saucy, since we didn't really discuss him and on the Atlanta Reign so far?
Yeah, I mean, so Saucy is a pretty big pickup for this team. A lot of people are very excited for him. So he turned 18 3 weeks ago. I think it was July 10th. And so he's a flex player
How do you
that was
know
promoted.
that?
I mean, I study up, I research, I do my due diligence as
No,
an analyst.
I'm very
right?
impressed.
So, yeah. So, you know, I sent him a birthday card, all of that good stuff. No, I'm kidding. But he's a flex player promoted from the Atlanta Academy, where he has spent most of his time playing so far in competitive Overwatch, and now he was promoted to the actual Atlanta Reign roster to really round out this roster. So he brings some flex damage play to the mix, predominantly hit scan, I believe. So we'll see some McCree, maybe some Tracer, etc. So it's going to be nice to see him in the mix and see what he can do at an Overwatch League level. But I mean, this really just shows how comfortable the Atlanta Reign are currently. So good to see some new faces in the mix.
Absolutely. Let's see if it will work out for them or if this is the opportunity for the Dallas Fuel to start their comeback. We will find out in just a few seconds as we're heading onto our third map, which is going to be Numbani. So stay tuned.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Pringles Wavy. Big crunch, big flavor.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by HyperX. Unleash your style, unleash your fury with HyperX Fury Memory. And by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Doha's going to stick on this. He's still behind. Minefield gets a lot of done.
Up on the break. Puck goes back. Pulse bomb. Puck goes down. Instant cleans him off, and there it is. Eventually the Reign. They get what they came for, Matthew.
Your shield's just going to melt. It doesn't matter.
Oh, Jerry's right in front of me. Are you kidding me? Welcome back. Match point for the Rain Dallas Fuel. They're up against the ropes currently. We're heading to Numbani. Is our third map of the series. It's going to be the hybrid. And we've got a couple of substitutions coming in, Hex. So brand new players added to the Rain. Also, recently, we have Saucy coming in for the DPS and Iris coming in for the support role.
Yeah, Saucy, I believe, just became eligible about a month ago, just turned 18. And Iris, of course, LR1S, Iris, we've heard it a lot of different ways, but the way that he says it himself, yeah, that's what I'm going to say. I think it rolls off the tongue, really. The way he pronounces it is Iris, joining, of course, the amazing lineup of players in the Overwatch League with numbers instead of letters in their name. We'll be playing the Flex support. I don't know if this was Atlanta's plan to begin with the day, but based on what they've seen out of Dallas, it's really a good time to get some guys some playing time, to introduce them to the league, let them make their debuts. However, this is a really important map for Atlanta. If they sweep, they put themselves in a decent spot to get that 4th seed, of course, depending on what happens in our next matchup between the Los Angeles Gladiators and the Florida Mayhem.
I'll say one thing. I was kind of waiting for Saucy to kind of step up. Of course, like you just said, he's only just become eligible. He was on Atlanta Academy just previous to this, and Iris was on Third Impact. You just saw a couple of highlights there from contenders. I'm pretty excited to see them up against the Fuel because, yeah, I don't know if it was the plan, Hex. I really don't know.
Think so.
I don't think it was. It was just so dominant on Gibraltar. It's like, okay, so if we actually just get our rookies coming in, a little bit of playtime, I don't think that would go amiss at all, and they can just get their, I guess, their stage nerves just brushed off rather easily, and they can take the Fuel on a Numbani. It's going to be a more dive-centric map once again. I can imagine they could probably run the same thing as they done in Gibraltar, which is going to be the Orisa and the Sigma.
Yeah, I mean, that said, it might come to bite Atlanta, because Atlanta does need to sweep, and then I think they need Florida to lose a map in their next match. But, yeah, a lot on the line for Atlanta, but everything we've heard about these players coming in from contenders and making their Overwatch League debut has been great. Atlanta announced Iris onto the lineup on Dogman's birthday, which was a little cold in my opinion. But everyone is looking very excited for him to play in and then get Saucy come in. Atlanta has a very versatile damage line already. So to bring him in, maybe to replace some of the heroes that Baby Bay played, or anything. As you mentioned in the break to me, like he plays everything. Kind of known as a jack of all trades is Saucy.
Yeah, Saucy is going to be on the Genji for the Rain. Did play hit scan a lot of the time in contenders, and the Zaya, of course. The majority of his time was spent on the Zaya and Goats, so they're going to be holding the high ground, and they're going to look for these Rally and the Blaze. I really want to see what Fuel are already going to do to counter this. Are they going to be running with this out the gate, or are they going to go for the dive again? Because their dive previously was, it's good on watch point, don't get me wrong, but like the way the Rain played, and they just kind of outclassed them completely on their comp, and they were able to held the little car wash, and they just were so disconjointed with their ultimates. The Fuel waiting for this big nano blade. Doha goes in with the blade, doesn't get nanoed, instantly dies. It's like, what's happening here? It was just kind of, everything was just kind of falling apart. The same happens here. I gotta fear for the Dallas Fuel mental, to be honest.
I don't leave games, but if my team had 6 ults to 0 and we lost the fight, I might be tempted. I still wouldn't, but, you know. Anyway, stair fight's going to happen here. It's Orisa versus Orisa. Atlanta giving a little bit of space here as they just fire in damage onto the stairwell.
Kind of a classic hold. Wait for the dynamites to wear off. Only just taking a little bit of a flank here, trying to get some dynamite damage in and kick someone off the headshot. Nice little window position, and Onigod's going to be able to use this as well. Master does end up falling. Immortality Field's used on both sides, but Rain are in a horrible position where they don't have an additional healer at their backs, and yeah, they don't have either one of them now or the tanks. So Rain end up falling over there as the window was used incredibly early from Crimzo. Build it up before Iris did. 75% for the Rain, and that Immortality Field going out just after the first death. Master dead, that's a whole lot less CC and sustain available in that first point, so pretty easy take for the Fuel.
Yeah, oddly enough, it's the advantage you have in these mirror matches on Numbani if you're both running the Baptiste, is that your team's going to take a ton of damage trying to walk up the stairs, but that means that that window's going to come up way, way quicker. I mean, we've seen double windows happen during fights like that. Here comes a blade.
Oh, nice move. He's still got a dash. The Holtz and the Immortality Field to keep Doha alive in the fray as well. He manages to kill off the Imo field, and Master ends up going down as well. Beautiful steamroll now for Fuel. They're in a good position to take the second point too. They can hold super far up. They've got Supercharger coming up. They've even got the Flux and the Rally. Rain, unfortunately, not quite there with their Rally yet, but they at least have a Blade and a Bob for the defense.
Yeah, the Bob could at least stall out for Rally, and maybe you even Rally Blade. The Armor Blade could come out and do a lot of damage here, but Dallas has been very economical, are going to have defensive ultimates that they can counter Rally. Right now it's 11-0 in favor of Dallas as far as eliminations go.
Pretty good. Early Supercharger, you love to see it. Bob's coming out as well. He got still holding on to his until the whole game through. Everybody get knocked up by the Bob, and then the Flux. Goodbye, that to Rain. Wow, this is a completely different Fuel we are currently seeing. And we did talk about just 30 seconds ago, X. Were Rain putting in Saucy and Iris just to get a little bit of stage time, just to get a little bit of practice? Currently, yeah, they're kind of getting run over by the Fuel. Like, questions do arise whether they wanted to do this, or maybe they should have only put one of them in just to try and test them against the Fuel. Or is this Fuel just finding themselves in a really good map and a really good position to be in? A lot of Numbani is all about the steamroll. Second and first point can just disappear in a blink of an eye. But at least on third, you can hold this close up here.
Well, Atlanta finally got their very first kill, and now we're able to stabilize on this point. This is where you want to kind of hold as Orisa, stay around the corner. Orisa's going to peek up top, maybe see if they can get space and hold this high ground. And I'm just really excited to see what Saucy's first blade looks like.
Both windows have been used. 2 DPS traded. Saucy
down.
Just, blown to smithereens with that dynamite, unfortunately. Swap places have the Rain, then Zohar has the blade ready to go. Massa dead means they shouldn't really need to use it anything here. They're going to be able to reclaim control of the payload as well, which is just up to Gator to end up going down. There you go, in the end. 4 minutes and 20 seconds on Numbani going into third, and the last fight as well.
Well, deja vu. I'm just really excited to see what Saucy's blade looks like.
Yeah.
You can Flux here and... Wow.
That was lucky. He managed to get Bob off just in time. That's a good start. There's Saucy's blade, his first play of the Overwatch League. He finds Doha at least. Can he find anything else? Jumps into the Immortality field. Doesn't find all too much, but a bit of extra damage on the Orisa. But it's good enough for the Fuel to kind of take a back seat. They do all get dragged in, and Saucy goes in once more. Look at that ult charge already. 61% towards the blade. He ends up falling down, being a little bit too aggro, and Dallas Fuel repay that in spades with a rally forward with the window to back them up as well. However, Guangzhou falling is good news for Fuel, so they're going to have to be a little bit more careful. Spawn advantage, of course, in the Rain's favour as they try and level the playing field with a window of their own. No is playing just in a melee mode, takes out Master, but the rest of his team are going to fall around him.
Alright, so going back, Saucy only got 1 kill on that blade, but I believe it was on a blading Doha, so extreme value there. The Supercharger comes down from Gator late, right in front of the card, a really good position. They're unable to deal with that quickly. Dallas tried to get ultra aggressive and threw in a very forward Immortality field, tried to fight in it, and they trade out. But trading out on the offense, not going to work on these map types as the Atlanta Rain are going to respawn quicker. 3 minutes on the clock, and yeah, looking at these ultimates, I'm just really excited to see Saucy's blade.
Yeah.
I'm done with it.
But he's got another one. He got 60% off of that damage he did after his own blade. They all got
nice
together. Beautiful hold. Flux is going to get used. Don't take a whole lot of damage. This is a perfect time for the blade, Saucy. You got Immortality field on you as well, but they don't want to go in really against the Supercharger. I say that. Look at that slice! He unfortunately gets instantly taken care of, though. That hit 5 people. That one slash. And it did make sure that no went down. Dohar's going to go in with a blade of his own, though. They got any CC to follow this up with. Edison just takes his head clean off. But he did create a fair bit of space, but unfortunately, Paintbrush went down as well. So it's going to be another reset for the Fuel.
Yeah, Atlanta has been holding strong on this third point. You have to wonder if maybe they just shook off a little bit of rust. I don't care how much you played in contenders or on any stage. Your debut in the Overwatch League is bound to have your wrists shaking with that adrenaline. So right now, Saucy and Iris have come into their own and been able to stabilize. 2 minutes left. That's 2 pushes for the Dallas Fuel. They can open with Rally here. Bob can create space, but really I think Note is going to be the one to be the difference maker here. The Flux is going to matter a great deal.
Oh, Kansu's already dead. Yeah, No doesn't want to use this now. They got 1 minute and 40 seconds remaining, Hex. And look at all those health bars, too, on the Fuel. Doha and OniGod were low for such a long period of time there. They even used the Bob to try and get onto the point and try level the playing field, but it didn't quite happen. It's going to be 1 and a bit fights now for the Fuel to push on to this third point.
Well, it's a really nice fight for Atlanta because it allows them to stabilize as far as the ult economy goes. Now they have both of their tank ultimates up, and they're running even on the damage ultimates. A Bob came out from Dallas in the last fight and got very little done. The window's going to try to open it up, but Atlanta's just going to play corner.
In other words, they do get actually dragged back into it, but Onigod goes down to Saucy. No finds 2 though! With 1 use to the spheres, Edison and Iris end up going down, and use the flux afterwards too. An immense amount of damage. Can they capitalize on it though? Edison still has this Bob coming out too, so if he wanted to, he could use it from the spawn doors. Doha's got the blade, everybody's pulled together, and he slashes straight through Saucy, who pulled the blade. They end up falling, and now 40 seconds remains for the Fuel to put this payload in.
Nice
Rain's
shield.
plan
Stuff
now is just to get this OT. Doha finds himself with a 1v1 with Edison on the side, and the Bob's going to do a whole bunch of work here, stopping this payload from moving. Can Atlanta Rain stall out for 30 seconds here?
Well, they've got the stall comp coming out. The ball will come out. Hawk is nearing Flux. Window's going to push them back even more.
Dude, they just gave them like almost all the positioning. Maybe it was a bait though, as that drag comes in with the dynamite and the dash from the Genji. Whole lot of damage, kills off Master, but they're still delaying a lot of time. 10 seconds remains as the Fuel all hit Q at once, and they managed to cap the payload just in time. So they will be granted another round of attack, luckily enough, as they do have time in the bank. But that took 4 minutes and a bit to actually cap that third point.
Yeah, very difficult for Dallas to push into that last point. It looked like smooth sailing. At some point, it was like 16-0 in favor of Dallas as far as the eliminations went. But Atlanta able to stabilize on last point, holding. I mean, it's a good point for Orisa, right? You're not really concerned about high ground on this last point. There's not a ton of high ground to take, and the ones that are available are not that great as far as angles go. So that's when the Orisa just really comes to play, and make sure that Baptiste can heal everybody up. Saucy got a couple of nice blades. Doha get the better of him a little bit later than that, though. But Dallas probably should have finished that with a couple minutes left. Only 10 seconds remain. We'll see what their defense has in store. It seems like we're going to see a mirror match yet again.
Yeah, no surprises there. That was kind of ridiculous. I think Sources had a fairly good showing. Sometimes it's a little bit hard, I will say, to see how much impact the Baptiste is having. I mean, you're really looking at the ult charge he's generating. We do see quite a few pop-off performances with the window and just people, the Baptiste just shooting people down, but it is sometimes a little bit more difficult unless we're kind of spectating them. It's very easy to see how much impact Genji's having, just ult charge and then Dragon Blades coming in. I wouldn't say Saucy Aura is having a bad game to start off with. A good day to have your debut for sure.
Yeah, I mean, definitely has to get more value out of these Dragon Blades. I think he had 3 that were popped, and he only has a single Dragon Blade kill. That's not the best ratio that you're looking for. On the other side, Doha has 7 Dragon Blade kills and many more final blows, so...
Yeah, there you go. Well, there you go. Stats prove me wrong yet again, huh?
Well, I mean, I'm just saying.
You
got a single Dragon Blade kill onto Doha.
Well, I'm just saying it was cool because he stopped the play. Right?
It was a cool kill.
It was a cool kill. Cool factor? Probably 8 out of 10. She killed the other Genji while he played. That's a nice Immortality field defense there from the Fuel. Used the Immortality field rather late. Able to get a lot of damage now. Edison actually killed himself with the dynamite there, I believe. That's a bit unfortunate, but a bit of extra ult charge didn't go over to the Dallas Fuel ult bank. So you're good. Team kill. And now Iris does have the window available. Crimzo a little bit further behind, but 4%, 6%, you know, it's whatever. You can get that in the next couple of minutes.
Note is actually running wild right now. He's second on his team with 14 final blows. I mean, Doha has 16, but Note on Sigma has 14 final blows. Everybody else is 2, 3, 4, 4. So it's the Note in Doha show right now for Dallas. I've been so impressed that his Sigma's improved every week. Unfortunately, the Dallas results have not mirrored that.
Early window in the push out. Immortality field. All better. Play. There we go. And the Immortality around the corner as well. Look at this sightline Onigod has got. They can use that blade too. That's a whole lot of damage and a whole lot of resets for Doha. Note picking up a couple of kills for himself as well. Perfect defensive start for the Fuel. Look at that ult bank as well coming into the next fight.
And Atlanta ended up using the window, which was the small advantage that they had from their first fight, but both windows dropped down. Atlanta unable to take advantage, and now they don't even really have an ultimate advantage to push in with this. The biggest advantage that they have is going to be their Dragon Blade differential at 72 versus 19%, so Saucy's going to have a big blade.
There's the Flux, there's the Hulk. Immortality Field's going to come out soon. Can you kill people in mid-air? No, you cannot. Late Immo Field, in fact. That was rather greedy. Rally's being used as well. Both Immo Fields have been used, both Fluxes have been used, and the Immortality Fields. It's all up to the Supercharger. Saucy unleashing the blade. He's found one Hex. Oh, he can't quite find the rest. He gets killed by Gamsu. He thought he had him. He thought he had the kill, so he 180 to try and get back onto the point, but Gamsu was still alive.
It's fine.
It's fine. It's whatever. They got the point. It's what counts.
He got his second Dragon Blade kill, but you know, zoning blade is a thing. Sure, why not? Atlanta had to use pretty much everything that they had during that one, but why not? When you're at like a minute 30 and you have ultimates, it's probably your last good fight. You can come in scrappy and try to do something after that, but Numbani is such a long walk to first that feels like your last best chance, so everybody smash Q. But now Dallas is going to be in a solid spot to be able to hold around the bus here and not give up too much room.
They're taking a nice little avenue of attack around the statue. There's the blade. Oh boy. That Blongo was pretty big for the Fuel. That was one dash and a couple of kills. You'll love to see it.
Well, we'll see if Dallas wants to do the very aggressive hold that we've seen lately. And yeah, Atlanta's actually anticipating it, so they just take the back spawn all the way around. That's a nice opening kill. Doha's been a problem, and they just solved it.
Yeah, they did. Both windows have been traded as well. It's a good Immortality Field place for both teams. They can kind of hide it around the corner, but the team that pushes first here is normally going to win it out. Massa with 3 kills to kill. He's just swinging away as the Briggs. Come on, guys. But it's almost a perfect situation for the team that's a bit more aggressive in that situation, because both Immo Fields are LOS completely if you're both holding the corner. So if you're going to be more aggressive, you're going to be able to kill the Immortality Field and then push onto the rest. And that's exactly what happened. Rain were just first to engage in that situation.
Well, Dallas on the defense is going to have a rally at some point if they can stall this out. You'd imagine that Bob just goes in there and just tries to hit the cart and gives them a little bit of time and space. However, Atlanta, they've got Blade ready. Yeah, Bob is just going to hit the cart. Yeah.
That back out as well. You saw them instantly go around the corner. You know they don't want to deal with this. Oh, Flux is being used though. Oh no! Someone help Bob! Oh, he dies to Flux. What a sad story. Sad story. Rally's going to get used. Saucy, a lot of HP now. Immortality Field, he went sky high. He was in another galaxy with that blade. He gets booped yet again, but around to Rain still managed to cap the point in the end. He was distracting, and you said it just a second ago, Hex, but the zoning blade,
no, I was joking that time.
Looking at him.
Yeah, I was joking that time, but that was actually a very good zoning blade. Like, they had to put in a lot of resources to try to keep the supports alive. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, the rest of Atlanta is just pushing the cart through.
Yeah, back to the ranch, yeah, definitely. Atlanta Rain now have 3 minutes on the clock. Less than 10 seconds. Look at this very aggressive push yet again. I like Dallas Fuel being aggressive. I really like it. Doha wants to get in there. Only wants to play aggressive as well. Really does play to their strengths. I feel like Flux and them just forcing themselves forward, just make sure they get so many ults for next fight. Not even using the Supercharger or the Rally in this engagement was really nice, so they've got a lot of ults for this next one. And it's going to be up to Rain here, and I think if I'm the Rain, you'd want to take a dry fight, because they use Supercharger here, and it doesn't not only aid in just instantly killing people, but it charges your ults pretty fast. If you're Genji, if you're just the Flux, I meant the Sigma. The Sigma, the Flux bot, the Sigma, or the Ashe, charges your ults also quickly. Pulled out the Immortality Field, not too bad whatsoever. Gamsu ends up going down though, not my word, that's a lot of damage. Those windows do so much as well for your ult bank. Only God's gonna maybe help Doha. Doha does get stunned, but he still managed to kill Iris. Can he get anything else done? Yes, he can. Master ends up going down too. He's just soloing in the backline. Oh, what a fight. Looked almost secured for the Rain. Doha takes it into his own hands and takes 4 with him.
That was 100% Atlanta's fight until Doha just went absolutely nuts. He gets stunned and then wakes up and kills 3. No problem, just Doha things. Atlanta still has to win probably 2 fights to secure this map, and they only have 90 seconds. However, they did get Dallas to use some of their ultimates, not all. There's going to be a defensive rally available, but Atlanta needs to be able to go in, maybe the Flux, maybe the Blade. We need to see more Blade value.
It's just like Slambulance just running into each other over and over again. These fights, they have no time in between them, it feels like. Rally forward for the Rain. Paintbrush is first to fall. Immortality Field, I was going to say Immo Field, I know you guys hate it. Immortality Field has been used really early as well. 1 minute remains for the Fuel now. as they do push on to the last point.
They were able to hold on to Blade there too. Blade could close this out. They've got the Blongo up. That's Bongo and the Blade ready to go. Gator at 92%. You imagine just a little bit of a clip here and there should be able to get that Bongo up. I think you might even Blade first. You know where the okay.
No, Gamsu got stunned and whip-shotted, so he couldn't even touch. Oh, what a play. Rain managed to make sure the ball can't even touch. The best stalling character in the game, the Wrecking Ball, stunned and then whip-shotted back a couple of inches too. And you've got so much displacement with the Orisa, with the Sigma, with the Brigitte. It's very hard for Ball to get anything done, but once he does get spinning and once he actually contests the payload, it's fairly hard to actually get him off of it because he's going to pop the shields. But yeah, stopping Gamsu right at the very end there just made sure they can stop them going from OT, because the spawn point on Numbani does feel so close, and you can get ball out very quickly, Lucio, and anything else you want to stall out so fast. So an extra 30 seconds does land in the favor of the Rain here. 31 to just a single minute.
That was a very eloquent thesis there, Jack, but can I get some C9s in the chat? You know they're going to be there.
C9, haha, C9, you did it, guys. No.
Yeah, I mean, Atlanta was just able to get that push towards the end, and yeah, you're right. If Ball lives there, it might go the other way. That's how important that one hero is, because even at the highest levels of Overwatch League, we've seen spin to win work. If you don't have like your stuns on cooldown, and you're not running a Roadhog, which no one's running a Roadhog, then Ball can just kind of ruin your day. And then, you know, he's in the middle of 5U, gets 1,000 HP, then everyone else respawns. So a really nice whip shot to deny that entry at the end. This is a weird situation on Numbani. It's a single push. They're probably going to be dry with less than a minute. Not going to have ultimates up. Who can win this neutral fight?
Yeah, this is a match point as well for the Rain. So stalwart defense here is what they're looking for. Hopefully no ticks, of course. They're using the same kind of hold they were before. I want to see when these Sigma Fancy Builds come out. Yeah, Fuel have already used theirs. Rain with a later one. However, they both instantly go down. So now it's all on to Node, who actually gets pushed out from the high ground. This could be big. I think the Fuel are going to have to join them unless he takes this big off angle. Doha almost with a Blade as well. They do get onto the point and potentially secure a tick 2. That they do. So the Fuel have a very good position now to take the game and actually keep themselves in the series. An early rally from Fossa as well. He built that up so fast. Paintbrush is 40% behind. Doha pulls the play with the Immortality Field in the room, but he's just going to get torn apart. The Rain hold on first, but the Fuel still have a win condition. 51.5% they managed to build up. But what a turnaround. That was all on Master, getting so much damage in Hex. He was 40% ahead of Paintbrush. He hits the rally. That's almost a guaranteed fight.
Yeah, a beautiful play from Atlanta there to be able to hold that one on, and Doha tried to get some shenanigans going, but while he was nearing the Blade, they knocked him down to 20 HP, and you're not going to Blade with 20 HP. There's no point. You might as well just hit the respawn button. So he has to leave that fight, and I also think it's really smart from Atlanta. There's a lot of teams that once they see progress being made will give up all their position, but I think Atlanta's confident enough to be like, no, we'll just win this fight and then we'll take first point, rather than really caring about the percentages. It's this delicate dance that a lot of Overwatch teams have to do of how much are we willing to give up to ensure our small advantage positionally. And you see a lot of teams, some of the best teams, will give up 95, 98% on a point before they go fight, because they know that going to fight before that is just the wrong choice. So Atlanta made a good call there. Now looking to sweep Dallas here if they can just get some percentage on first point in Numbani, and that would put them in a decent spot to take the 4th seed in NA.
Yeah, sweeping clean 3-0. I thought this match was going to be closer, Hex. I'm going to be real. At the very start of the series, and even before when we were just kind of chilling and chatting, I thought this was going to be at least a 4-game, 4-map, maybe even a 5. But
I thought Dells could take control, but yeah.
It's their best win rate as well. They have a positive win rate on control too. Okay, how are they going to set up? Mirror comps, of course, yet again. Very aggressive push once more. Saucy already in the backline. Let's play a little bit more passive here. He's going to get dynamited. Edison already goes down, but it didn't stop the Atlanta Rain last time around. Saucy still going in. Gator falls with him, but look at this Blade! The Blade, I think this is a mistake. I actually think the Blade is a mistake. Because they already have 2 dead. And Atlanta Reign, bearing in mind, they had an extra 30 seconds too, so that is almost guaranteed 2 fights. They have to take this one fairly fast next time around. They did use an ultimate of their own in the window, but I think that blade from Doha might cost them here.
Yeah, that's yeah, no, I think it's definitely a mistake. With 2 down, you think that Atlanta's probably just trying to reset anyway. Masa could get to rally, but Crimzo and Paintbrush on the Dallas Fuel already have both of their support ultimates. Can Saucy get to his own blade? Can this be the redemption arc for our new player?
Look at this window. It's so good. Immortality Field's been used
they can wait
as
it
well
out
already. They can, but they've got 10 seconds left. They haven't got Lucio to speed boost to point, but Saucy can dash if really need to. Now the push. They're going to get fluxed. Oh, Saucy dashed! Saucy dashed on point. He has been stunned, but the rally's still going off for Marta. They just need to find kills here because the rally from the Fuel is also building up. Gator's also going to fall. This might just be it. The Dallas Fuel coming back in this series. Only God takes control. The Bob gets launched out, and they hold them on first. The Atlanta Reign, with their 2 rookies subbed into the series, end up losing this 3rd map. The Fuel, they're not out of the series just yet.
No, not just yet, and Atlanta might be kicking themselves depending on the results of our later game today. I think some of that just comes down to comms at the very end. You mentioned that Saucy dashed to the point. He didn't have to, because Gator was able to use Fortify during that flux, so he was on the point. Gator was ready to hold that point, being the anchor tank that Orisa is. So Saucy dashed thinking someone's got to touch the point. He gets punished for it, and then they're down a player, and then it all falls apart after that. So bringing in new players, I get why Atlanta did it. It seemed like Dallas was not going to put up a fight today at all, but it might end up costing them, and it just seems like small little comms issues. Saucy seems to be an extremely aggressive Genji, which I like, but he's got to play around his team a little bit more. He didn't have to touch the point. Atlanta had time. They had players on that point, and then Atlanta just kind of went full berserker mode and got punished for it. Dallas, I'm not gonna give you hope as a Dallas fan. I know what that feels like. So we'll see. But they played much better there. I thought Note had a great game, and Atlanta Reign trying out some new things gives up the map.
Yeah, I want to see if they do actually sub them out now. Of course, we can see the lobbies, but it doesn't mean they're actually leaving just yet. We're going to jump to a 4th map, after this break. Do not go anywhere. See you in a bit.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. Switch today and rank up to America's largest 5G network, T-Mobile.
And by State Farm. For auto, home, or renters insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
With that map win by the Fuel, Atlanta Reign aren't gifted the 3-0 clean sweep and the 4th place finish as well. That was on the line in that last map, Hegs. And now we jump on to Hanamura as our next one.
Yeah, they needed it. Maybe, I don't know, I don't want to deep dive into the Atlanta headspace. That's a dangerous place to be. But maybe they just felt like Florida was not going to end up gifting them the 4th seed anyway, so they felt like it was a really good time to get some of these players some experience. Who knows what the strategy is, but it definitely came back to bite them. Saucy, look, he did not have a great game. It's first map ever playing in the Overwatch League, so you kind of just excuse that as jitters. He will be staying in. However, Iris will be subbed out. Dogman will come back in as we move on to Hanamura.
Yeah, Hanamura. So same old, I can imagine comps, but this is, I think this makes a little bit more sense with Dogman coming back in. Just kind of let Saucy run a little bit wild. If he wants to play super aggro with the Genji and have Dogman and Maso, who've been working together, of course, for a very long time, maybe it was a little bit of a mistake to sub both the rookies in, like, straight away, and not just kind of slowly integrate them, like, slowly acclimate them to the team. I mean, it was very fun, and to be fair, it was pretty close as well. Dallas Fuel capped 51% of the points, and it was on to Reign there to capture, obviously, the 52% to end up taking the map. So it wasn't as one-sided as I thought it would be. Hanamura, a little bit of a different story, though. It's a map I think a lot of people love and hate. I think the hate portion of it is very much directed towards the spawn point, and then the ability to get back to the point on second extremely quickly. But it's an interesting one too. We're going to see Edison back on the Ashe, like, hands down. Saucy's going to be on the Genji. But I think just the tank line in general currently, Gator and Hawk, have just been outperforming Gamsu and Note on this mirror match.
Yeah, I mean, I think Node has had some really good moments, although I haven't really called Gamsu's name a whole lot here. So I think, like, there's I don't know, maybe the Orisa on one team is better than the other, and then the Sigma on the one team is better than the other. Right now, the difference to me, like, especially in the last map, was definitely the Genji difference. Doa had many more Dragon Blade kills, got a lot more value out of the Genji than Saucy did. So maybe that's be something that Dallas can rest their heads on forward. Look, Dallas has only really beaten teams and played teams close when they get, like, god-tier performances out of their damage dealers. You really can't expect anyone else to carry this team. It's been like Doha and Decay at moments Oni got as well, but Dallas needs that to even be competitive with squads. And even that being said, Atlanta just subbed in 2 guys who had never played in the Overwatch League before, and they were 1 fight away from sweeping Dallas. So it's still not the greatest look ever for Dallas. I'd imagine we're going to see mirror matches here. Ashe is great on this map. Ashe, Genji, Sigma, Orisa, and then whatever supports you want to do. It's been Bap and Break most of the day. These teams are running very, very similar compositions.
I would like to see the Zen just a little bit, but that ain't gonna happen, sadly. Sad to say, but unfortunately that's just the way it is. Paper's on the Mercy. I can imagine they're just gonna spam out the doorway, or not. I mean, a few teams you'll see kind of pull Brock up to the top, or just attempt to reveal a Sombra, because Sombra has been known to run on this map just a little bit, and anybody that's holding super far up as well can get punished, but those are, I feel like, are very days of old. Really happen as much anymore.
Yeah, you can Sombra to scout here sometimes, but you're not generally running Sombra the entire match. Maybe on second point, because second can be so difficult to break through. But no surprises out of either of these squads. I like the Orisa spot here to not hold, like, actual doorway, to hold back corner here, to use the buildings as your shield half the time.
This setup's been kind of common as well. Oh my word, Edison just got over. Yeah, okay, that's bad news. They have to try and find something now, and they do just that. Both immortality fields used on top of each other as well. This actually the rain that come out on top. Oh no, you're in a bad situation, buddy. Yeah, you're gonna die. That was a very good start from Only God. I think he just double tapped him, and he instantly died. And Edison's actually changed over to the Widowmaker. Not going back to the Ashe, so they're going to have a lot less upfront damage with the Dynamite. The Widowmaker is just there basically to stop the pesky Genjis from getting away with things and making sure he can kind of keep Only God in check as well. The Widow can hold so far back in this on this point specifically that Only God's going to have a bit more of a difficult time actually focusing him out.
Yeah, I mean, I think defensive Dynamite here is in a weird spot, too, because if you Dynamite around the corner, you're not going to get kills. You're really just feeding an ultimate, so I don't hate this switch to the Widow. It makes some sense for burst damage.
Look at that push from the Reign. They saw the window come out, and they're just like, okay, no, actually, we're going to dive to the back line, because you can't use the amplification matrix for use of anything. So Crimzo puts it up, and the Reign are like, okay, Immortality Field, W, and then now it's useless. You basically just wasted null. Saucy goes in with the blade and makes sure Dallas Fuel pay for his actions, and Only God as well, getting caught out at the end there as well. So that's a little bit more of a stagger time too. Good defense for the Reign so far. They got ults to spare too. 2 minutes in the time bank now for the Fuel.
Yeah, pretty solid. They're going to have both tank ultimates on this defense, and with only 2 minutes, that's 2 pushes for Dallas. To me, this entire match for Dallas has been about Note and Doha. We'll see if they can get value out of their ultimates. Flux and Blade, generally not used at the same time. Kind of hard to hit people in the sky, but Flux is going to open it up. Any stragglers are going to get bladed.
You got his body shot there from Widowmaker. Edison ends up taking out Only God. That's the matchup that I really wanted to see. It's up to Doha to really pay attention to him. Yeah, now Crimso's dead. He just dives the back line on Edison. Can he get the cool reflect kill? No, he can't, because Immortality Field is going to protect him as well. Oh, dearie me. Dallas Fuel not looking so great right now. Even Note, you saw their Hex, actually used the Flux in the end to try and make the fight work.
The Flux got nothing.
You are staggering yourself, by the way. Like, for a long time. Doha is so low, that's an unfortunate grapple timing. He goes down to Saucy. That's an extra 20 seconds off the clock.
Yeah, they can't go in without Doha. I mean, all of the fights they've won have been on the back of Doha's blade. Edison has really come to life, though, here. I think he gets 3 here.
Look at that. He just lined him up. Only God didn't even really feel like he knew where he was.
Playing against a Widow who's in that point and just shooting through the slats just feels unfair. Like, there's no way those should not be solid surfaces.
There was a Venomine trick at one point as well, where you could put a Venomine on the slats. We'll talk about that in a minute. There's the Blade, there's the Blongo. Only God actually comes back on the Widow and takes care of Edison. Can the Blade get anything done? Doha going pretty low as Gator trades as he gets Gamsu too. I don't think they're going to be able to push this now. Not with a Blade in your face. That's Saucy picking up a 3k. Master's going to rally on top as well. Can he get a 4th? The deflect only just manages to delay the inevitable. Oh, Doha. 20 seconds now remains. Gamsu's on ball to try and get an OT. Like, this is disastrous for the Fuel.
Yeah, just the blade value was not there. They know all the resources are going to Doha, so Atlanta's able to put all their own resources into taking him down. Ball will touch the point, but Hawk is nearing a Flux, can lock everybody out.
Don't give him a tick. Do not give him a tick. Yeah, okay, so Mass is actually going to the point now to prevent that from happening, but they got it. Win condition for the Fuel. That was a funny death cam. Only God just slung into the pots and pans. Okay, Edison, yeah, he's going to clean the rest up. The Fuel, they managed to get to 35%. Let's go. Managed to get it at the end, but do we see it? Get your telescopes out.
Let's play the game again. We always like to do this game. How many kills do you think Dallas got in that entire offense?
4?
Initiating match.
Half of that.
2?
They got 2. 2 kills.
Oof. All right. Pretty sweet.
Yeah. Edison died twice. that was it. Edison died twice.
Oh yeah, he died in the Ash, didn't he? He died in the Ash. He changed to Widow, so
changed to Widow, and then I think he got Widow beat by Only.
Yes, he did by Only God. Yeah. So Edison died twice to yeah.
That was it. That was it.
Oh man, he died. But Only God twice in that instance. Then yeah. So Only God got the only 2 kills.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
In fairness, Gamsu got an assist. Yeah, that's rough stuff. However, I mean, like you mentioned, like they give up a tick for free, so there is still a win condition for Dallas. However, unlikely. But if they full hold this, which we've seen on Hanamura be absolutely possible, Dallas could be going into a map 5, which is Control, which is Dallas's best map type. So I'm not saying there's a chance, but I'm saying there's a chance.
There's a chance. I think if I was Edison right now, I'd play with it 100%. You have 4 minutes, right? You only need 1 pick. There's no mercy, can't res. It makes the most sense to just stick on the Widowmaker just to try and get that one initial frag. And that is it. That's all that they need. Dogman's even going over to the Zenyatta too to pile the pressure on the tanks and the shields. Interesting setup of the healers here too, I must add. Fuel not having their Brigitte hide up onto the high ground with Note. Now Dogman is going to be able to not only apply the Discord Orb to Gamsu, but Note's going to be under a lot more pressure. Nice little halt. Mortality did come out, but I think he's just going to rely on Edison. He's actually playing frontline Widow right now just to try and find this pick.
Well, good halts on both sides. There's been a staring match thus far. Masa already has a window, though. Window comes down.
Oh Master's dead. Dogman's dead. That's a few more kills. That's 4. And that's 5. There you go. And a team kill at that. 6 make that even. Okay, so Atlanta Reign still with 3 minutes. Burnt a minute already. Edison's going for the TP. Okay, they're going for the TP. I still really enjoy the Widowmaker here. Unless they actually bait them out completely and Edison switches back. The grand debate. But no, it doesn't look like he's actually switched. It's just staying on the sim.
I don't hate this because you only need 1 tick, and also Symmetra is the bane of Genji's existence. And really the only thing keeping Dallas Fuel afloat right now is Doha.
No! Gamsu's onto the side. If they trap Gamsu in this small corridor, yes, they spot him! So the base command is going to come out for Doha. The Immortality kill went down to the rock. And that'll be the team kill. Oh, in the blink of an eye, everybody dies.
I do it again.
Reset if you're the Reign.
I would do it again 100% because you should have Transcendence and Blade. So you teleport through like right onto the point, pop Trans, pop Blade, and just kill anyone who's there. You're going to have Bongo at that time. I think you run Sim again for sure. Maybe go dead center, maybe go top left. But I actually like this. They just baited Blade out. There's not a great defensive ultimate, maybe rally, but I'm for it. I'm all for it.
Okay, ults have been used too, so they can't actually get dragged from anywhere. They're trying to kill this teleporter ASAP, and they go on to the point. There's the Flux to start off the fight. Blongo comes out. Already Gamsu's dead. Oh, the Immortality fields turn to smithereens as well. Doha at least picks up 1, and the rally's still going on for Paintbrush, so they're going to be a little bit more hard to take down, but they're just running them down at this point. Hawk finds 2 kills of his own. This is going to be it for the Reign. They've even got the Flux to send out as well. Goodbye, Note. He is long gone. The Fuel are cleared off the point. The series is the Reigns, a 3-1. As soon as they clear out the ball, you're not going to survive long, not against the Zen and all that damage. The Reign, they get it. A little bit of a slip up on Numbani, but they secure the series 3-1.
It's just a super smart adaptation, though, too, because you're nearing ultimates that all want to be area of effect ultimates. They're all fight-on-point ultimates. So how do we get on point without losing anybody early to the crack shots that are on the Dallas Fuel? Onigod and Doha are killing us before we can even walk in. Well, let's just tele onto the point. And then we've got Transcendence, we've got Bongo, we've got Blade. Let's just use them all on the point, and we only need like 36%. Why not do it? Smart adaptation from Reign. Even though it got stymied once, some teams would switch. I like going at it again when you have those ultimates up. Good adaptation, good strategery, as some would say. And Atlanta does what we expected against Dallas. Dallas was able to sneak out a map, which Atlanta might be kicking themselves on just a little bit. But this Atlanta team, we talk about the mess that the middle of the pack is, but whenever I talk about the middle of the pack, which is like 5 through 9, I guess, in North America, I usually have Atlanta around 5 or 6. Like, they've always been having a winning record. Like, they don't really get rocked too bad when they face the top teams. They don't get embarrassed the way some teams do. So yeah, Atlanta is still looking good, and with open hero pools, Gator gets to play Orisa. Why not? Yeah. Looking good.
And he's going to be your Xfinity player of the match as well. Also, congratulations to Saucy for winning his first series.
Yeah.
He's a 1-1 currently on maps in the Overwatch League, so congrats to you. And Iris too, obviously did lose the map on Numbani, but you still managed to pick up a win as a team, so not too bad at the start for your debut. Oh, the beautiful series start from Gator there, dragging 2 people off into their death on control.
I mean, this is what we all expected, though. When Orisa comes back in the pool, Atlanta's so much better with the Orisa compositions. Gator just seems to have like such a fundamental understanding of when to use cooldowns, when the abilities are going to be at their greatest effect, when to use architecture instead of his shields. Even times when he's like kind of out on his own, he feels safe. The fortifies were always on point. I think Numbani actually could have gone different if they all knew he was fortified on point. But neither here nor there. Gator was definitely the main tank difference today, and he definitely deserves this. And with Atlanta in open hero pools, and they can play whatever they want, and now bringing in new talent, I mean, there's some upset potential for this team to knock off one of the top 3. We kind of have a top 4 because we put Florida firmly in that 4 spots, but I think Atlanta is a dangerous squad right now.
Yeah, extremely dangerous. Hopefully they can kind of crack that 4th spot. We've mentioned it before, but Paris, Philly, Shock, there seems like the Titans currently of the upper bracket of North American Overwatch League. And Mayhem and Atlanta kind of tussling it out in the middle there. You can see, of course, your Countdown Cup currently qualifiers on the screen. Shock and Eternal Infusion, yeah, surprise, surprise. But now the Mayhem have their chance to overtake the Reign right now. Reign sitting in this 4th spot. Mayhem against the Gladiators, which is next up, Hex. Gladiators not been looking so great. However, had a not the worst showing against the Fusion the other day. It's very much been an up and down Gladiators. We'll see what they can do with no hero pools.
Yeah, Florida is going to have to lose 2 maps if Atlanta wants to take that 4th spot, but Florida has been definitely that solid 4 spot when we talk about North America. But coming up next, Florida, Los Angeles, Jaws.
Yeah, we'll see in a bit, guys. Do not go anywhere. You're not going to want to miss it.